No one is slowing down in this hiring race for the right talent. That's why Principal wants to help you stay competitive by providing a comprehensive benefits package tailored to your company's and your team's needs. Because having the right benefits may help you reward and retain your team so they feel valued, motivated, and ready for the future. And that makes all the difference for your business. From large corporations to small and mid-sized businesses, Principal has the retirement and group benefits plans customized for your goals. Your company's future depends on its people. Give them the tools they need to succeed. Talk to your financial professional today about the right benefit plans from Principal. Principal Life Insurance Company, Des Moines, Iowa. For important information about our products, visit principal.com/disclosures.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
What's up? It's your boy, The Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to season 16, episode number 3573. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, The Ted Smith, and Mike Hawk. And you are the Men's Room. On tap today, Ryan Castle joins us once again from his basement dungeon studio type bar. And once again, we will sit and spin up. As today, we get repetitive with 10 bands and their most repeated words. We will play Profile This. Plus headlines, Men's Room Shout of the Day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted. All right, here we go to England, where a town buys a giant Christmas tree that looks exactly like a giant penis. To Belgium, where a couple breaks into church, and they baptize the man's weenus. Baptize. Florida train back after 20-month shutdown hits car on its first day back. Trampoline left in national forest so the animals could give it a crack. And a man steals a street sweeper in Virginia. Leads police on a low-speed chase. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, for about 12 straight years, one of the most major, time-consuming, and all-encompassing realities of life is a little thing we call school. And for better or worse, many memories are made there. For example, a high school teacher in Florida, she won Teacher of the Year. And then 2 days later, she dropped an N-bomb and punched a student in the face. Oh. Teacher of the Year material in Florida. But it's not all teachers assaulting students, of course. We go to Boston, where a 16-year-old student, she punched the principal in the face, knocked her unconscious. She's been out of school for the rest of the week. Good times. But school, of course, is not all about violence, right? Sometimes the fun is all about, let's say, poor sportsmanship. And I know what you're thinking, but no, we're not talking about varsity quarterback Miles Montgomery passing all over the other school's JV squad. Oh, no. We're talking about the California high school football team that beat the rival 106-0. But that's not even the part that pissed people off. What pissed people off was that already up 104-0, the winning team, they went for 2. That did not sit well with people. Oh, and we talked briefly yesterday about the Florida high school teacher who was almost charged with distribution of pornography to minors after showing the movie Alexander in her classical studies class. Now, she was not charged, mostly because Alexander's not porn, but her situation was, in fact, the talk of the school, because let's face it, when you're in school, there's always something, whether it's something about the teachers, one of the students' parents, who knows. But today, we want you to go down memory lane and tell us that's something that happened during your school days with this question. What's the big thing that went down at your school?
Be part of the big show. Call 206-421-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live. And send those emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
No one is slowing down in this hiring race for the right talent. That's why Principal wants to help you stay competitive by providing a comprehensive benefits package tailored to your company's and your team's needs. Because having the right benefits may help you reward and retain your team so they feel valued, motivated, and ready for the future. And that makes all the difference for your business. From large corporations to small and mid-sized businesses, Principal has the retirement and group benefits plans customized for your goals. Your company's future depends on its people. Give them the tools they need to succeed. Talk to your financial professional today about the right benefit plans from Principal. Principal Life Insurance Company, Des Moines, Iowa. For important information about our products, visit principal.com/disclosures.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Spoil Dad with the Father's Day at Lowe's, where you'll save big on the sweetest assortment of his favorite treats. Like a Craftsman 20-volt drill kit, was $79, now $69. Or gifts that sizzle, like a special buy Blackstone 28-inch griddle starter kit, now $278, valued at $329. There's nothing sweeter than Father's Day at Lowe's. Home to any budget, home to any possibility. While supplies last, about 6/9 through 6/15.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
99.9 KISW.
All the shows and away we go. Welcome to season 16, episode number 3,573. What a large and in charge program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeat. Once again, we'll welcome in Ryan Castle. Actually, he'll join us at home from his basement dungeon studio bar. And once again, we will sit and spin. And today, there is a website out there. And what you do is you plug in your favorite band.
All right.
And it will tell you the words that they use the most often in their songs. All right. Regardless of genre. You plug in your favorite country artist, favorite rap artist, favorite rock artist. Doesn't matter. If they have lyrics in their songs and they have a career and you know about them, plug them in. And, and, the, but, or, those aren't the words we're talking about.
Of course.
We're talking about when you think about AC/DC, what word comes to mind?
Rock. Nothing else comes to mind.
Rock and rolling, noise pollution,
For those about to rock.
We salute you. I mean, there's rock, more rock.
They just rock. They're about rock.
They rock. Same with Def Leppard. Rock till you drop, Rock of Ages.
All right, for a moment, Def Leppard was down that road, but by the time they put out, Pour Some Sugar on Me, did they kind of drop the rock thing? Because you're right, the first couple albums, they're all about rock. I'd like to do something like Iron Maiden, because you know it'll be something like Icarus.
It is something.
Or something biblical.
And as weird as it is, when you bounce between the genres of music. Now, there are a few exceptions to the rule on some artists as far as what their most popular words are, okay? But for the most part, love is a very popular word.
Of course.
For an example, I was just having fun with random bands, and I thought, okay, what about the Sex Pistols? Mm-hmm. Okay? Their number one word. Any guesses?
Either the F-bomb, riot,
this is a punk
anarchy.
Band, early 70s. It is love.
The Sex Pistols.
It's love. So are the Beatles. The Beatles is love.
They're not the same band.
The Sex Pistols, the most used word of all their songs is love. And I'm just like, what in the hell is this?
Huh.
You know what I mean? And then you put in Taylor Swift. Love comes up to the top.
Of course.
So there's but one thing is for sure, all these people are successful songwriters, musicians, and everything else. So there's obviously a formula to this.
Sex Pistols and Taylor Swift. That's right. All about love.
We've got a little bit of country for you today. We've got some rock thrown in there. You name it. We're going to find out. And we're going to play a little game with Ryan. He's going to give us the band. And then basically what we'll do is we'll try to guess. He said he's going to throw in some Seattle bands too.
Okay. All
try to guess what word is the most popular word that they use the most often. So that's on the way.
Does that include sounds or words? Because I'm thinking like David Lee Roth era Van Halen. I feel at the top where he'd be like,
you can't do Disturbed because they've got too many animal noises.
Wow.
Yeah, like, wow. Because whoa, whoa. I mean, no one knows.
What about Korn? Because he likes to do the.
Yeah, he does a lot of that. I mean, but, there are other artists like James Brown or Michael Jackson or Jimi Hendrix that just drop things like Shimone in the middle of. In the middle
of
the
word,
lyrics, you know what I mean? Like, what was that? I mean, especially James.
Shimone.
Ha. I mean, ha would probably be James's number one word.
James Brown sang like,
but it's not in the lyrics.
But he makes the sounds that most of us make if we fall down the stairs, right?
Gotta be hot. Yeah, exactly. We know James Hetfield. I think Ryan's going to throw Metallica.
Yeah.
So everything ends in an A for sure.
Absolutely.
No matter what it is.
See, he's the only member of the band who did not know the name of the band was Metallic. But someone asked him, what's the name of Metallica? Yep. All right, there it is.
10 bands and their most repeated words coming up with Ryan Castle. We'll sit and spin. Oh, by the way, every day, Monday through Friday here at 6 o'clock.
Just add an A. James can't say it right. We're supposed to be metallic. That's what I said, Metallica.
We head on over to the Odyssey app for the Men's Room Happy Hour, and that is exclusively on the Odyssey app. If you don't have the Odyssey app, hundreds of stations for you to check out. Lots of podcasts there, too, including the Men's Room Happy Hour, which is a little channel on there. If you search for the Men's Room, you'll see the Men's Room Happy Hour, and that channel comes on only live at 6 o'clock. So right now, if you click on the channel, it's going to be dead air because it only goes live at 6 Monday through Friday when we do the Men's Room Happy Hour. And one thing that's a little bit nice about the Happy Hour is that we don't have to abide by the same rules that we do on these airwaves here at KISW. So today we'll be doing the return of No S. Sherlock. However, on the Happy Hour, it is not No S. Sherlock.
Yeah.
It was the original intent of the bit. So we can do that. Man versus Beast. Oh, yeah. I know, Mike, there's been a lot of messed up stuff going on in the world of animals.
Come on, Beast.
A lot to report here. I'm sure you got the story about the guys that were fishing, got, taken over by a swarm of bees.
Yes.
They decided to jump in the water.
And they fished all right.
They don't want to deal with these bees. They figure they can jump in the water, the bees will leave them alone. And one dude gets eaten alive by piranhas.
Do you think the piranhas and the bees are working together? Right, the piranhas just swarm these guys. They're going to jump in the water, right? And then we can eat, then you guys go about your day. That's the animal kingdom working.
What do the bees get out of it?
Yeah, it could just be happenstance.
Probably that.
You know what I mean? Like when I drop food on the ground, I ain't helping out crows, but they benefit.
Sure. Seagulls.
So you are helping.
Today's Men's Room Happy Hour, Man versus Beast, No S. Sherlock. Download the Odyssey app, and we'll see you coming up on that deal at 6 o'clock. All right, on to our question. What was the big thing that went down in your school? Now, keep in mind, when the big thing goes down at your school, that does not necessarily mean that you were particularly involved. You might have been affected by it one way or another, but you know what I mean? There always was that one thing that kind of happened. It was just a little bit of a bigger deal sometimes, depending on the situation, depending on the school, how you grew up.
And the times, right? And I'm not making this up. Earlier today, one of the headlines that popped up on my feed, the high school I finally graduated from, it's now called Digital Harbor High in Baltimore. It used to just be Southern High School, right? So the headline was, student brings gun to Digital Harbor High. Now, that's a headline, and it's this big deal going on in Baltimore. I'm like, guys, when I went to school there, the headline would be, student does not have gun. And,
just brings backpack with books.
God, right, just had academia in his backpack.
Well, for us, it was, in my high school, it was a AA high school, so it was a smaller high school. And at that point in time, all of the kids that were in my neighborhood who were great athletes, they would transfer to the bigger high school in town, right? So there was another high school in town, and they took all the best players because they were a bigger school. At that point in time, they were AAA.
Right.
So we had a lot of kids that we grew up playing football and basketball and baseball with, and they transferred over to Morgantown High.
Of course.
And it pissed all of us off. So they gave us, but we still played them. Even though we were AA and AAA, it was a city rivalry, so no matter what, we go head-to-head with these team. But
did you ever beat them?
Like my buddy Garrett, man, I mean, we played football since we were in the 3rd grade together. He scored like 5 touchdowns against us. And it's like, dude, you are supposed to be on our team.
Right.
Like, there was so much of that stuff, where you get a little annoyed. But anyway, we never really had a championship team, so to speak. Whether it was baseball, whether it was women's basketball, we would get close. But we never were state champions. There was no banners that were hanging in our gymnasium or anything like that, which would have been nice. But lo and behold, when we were seniors, the high school I went to, University High School, they went and they competed in the West Virginia State band competition down at the state capitol.
Okay, all right.
The best bands, the best marching bands, had a bunch of different things, kind of like a dog show they do. You know what I mean? Like
right.
Best field performance, best blah, 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 blah.
Drum lines, all that
So
stuff.
they win the damn thing. And that was very cool, but then they got to do their thing at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Oh, damn.
So
okay.
for us, you know what I mean? And they showed us for like 3 seconds as they were going to a commercial break. Like it was behind Snoop. They were behind Snoopy or whatever.
Snoop.
And then they showed the marching
Snoopy.
band, you know what I mean? But normally what they would do was they would show the band, announce where they were from, bring up the fact that they won this, that, and the other. Well, they didn't have time for our band. They kind of like went, we'll be right back after these. You can see our band.
They didn't get the cred?
No, they didn't get the cred, but they got the.
That hurts.
They got 5, 6
You
seconds.
just want the mention, right?
Because who gets up on Thanksgiving and really wants to watch the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Day Parade?
People's mothers.
So my
mom loves it.
My mother watches it too. And it is what it, even like on Thanksgiving Day, when she's like, hey, we're going to come over for Thanksgiving. And of course, they're more than invited. But I tell do not get here when the parade's on. You cannot put it on my TV. I can't explain it. It makes me angry. I know you want to watch your parade. Watch it at home.
Okay, now I don't really get this so much, okay, but it was definitely a marching band high school thing. My mom was the, what the hell you call that thing?
Baton twirler
She was a
person?
baton twirler person, right?
What is that called?
There's only one of those, the baton twirler person.
They're part of the color guard. They're just,
I know, but is there a
they're
name?
the baton twirler.
But it's almost like they end up being like the lead singer of the band, even though they're not playing.
Yeah, they get all the hype, dude.
They're not playing any instruments.
Oh, you mean the conductor?
They go out there and spin?
No. The big baton,
the baton twirler.
The big ass baton.
Well, hang
It's only
on.
about
Because
that
there's
big.
there's
Oh,
baton
no.
flippers
Don't you
and
mean
spinners.
when they spin
How
around?
do we go down this road every
They
time?
spin around.
Well, because you're confusing what he's saying.
Yeah,
there's a giant one, but that guy leads the band.
Not that guy.
We're talking
Right, so she's just spinning a regular baton.
The baton twirler, yeah.
Yeah, that's part of the color guard.
That's fine. She's in the color guard.
This
but
girl right
yes, the baton
Erica
twirler.
Coots.
Well, she's a famous one.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what my mom did.
Maryland's had the same dude
But that
spinning
was-
a baton for as long as I've gone to football games.
It's almost like they put a spotlight on these people. Like whenever they make a
Yeah.
formation or whatever, they put them in the middle of it.
Because they're doing something
Well, they're-
interesting.
Right, but they're behind the band.
Well, not always. Sometimes they put them in the front, or they put them in the middle of formation, whatever. Then they go out there and they do their solo. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the hell that is.
Their baton solo.
So my mom was just huge into that because she was like the baton twirler.
So was she like, did she have like a lot of cred in her neighborhood?
She was the only baton twirler in the high school. She was the only one who knew how to do it. So of course, like when she watches the marching band,
wow,
she's always watching the baton
critiquing
twirler.
the baton twirler.
I mean, I remember having a baton in my house, my entire life because my mom still every once in a while pick it up and go to the backyard. Relive her Uncle Rico.
Yeah, I was going to say Uncle Rico.
You know what I'm saying? So
Band people are always like that, though.
What? What do you mean?
Like, my dad was in the band at Miami for a couple years, right?
All right.
So, like...
What did he play?
What did he play?
I just can't picture your father. I can't picture, other than percussion, maybe?
Oh, no, it was a horn. I can't remember if it was a saxophone.
For the Miami Hurricanes?
Yeah.
I'll be damned.
He was in Super Bowl III.
Really?
Get out of here.
Well, they were the halftime show.
They were the halftime
Yeah.
show. That was, boy, those were the days.
Yeah. Well, he went from Super Bowl III to Vietnam. Anyhow, the point is that every time.
What a deal.
Right?
What a deal.
We would go to Maryland games. We were the nerdy people. So we'd watch the band walk by in front of the players. And he'd always be like, that guy's not stepping right or this or that. I'm like, what do you mean he's not stepping right? They'd be like, well, you got to do it this way.
Critiques it.
Right. That's what band people do.
When I was growing up, my mom loved taking me to the football games early because I was selling Cokes. So I'd be there early for concessions.
So you could see everything.
But I could walk in with her, and then she would watch the marching band, even practice before they went out and did the band stuff, an hour before the game. And she loved it.
And band people, in your defense, we do the same thing when we watch sports.
I was in a marching band. I get it, man. Our team sucked, but boy, the band could fight. Baltimore City. By the way, seriously.
Well, there's a lot of schools that have terrible football programs that have really good bands.
We didn't have a terrible football program, but Digital Harbor High, as it is now. But Southern High School, when I went there, they made it to the city championship for football, all right? And they got blown out 42-6, I think it was. But anyway, so there's a lot of drawing back and forth. but the band whipped that other team's ass. I'll tell you that.
Oh.
Our players couldn't play, but goddamn it, don't mess with the band. You see a crazy mother effer with a flute.
But you
They
gotta
don't
remember,
use it.
man,
Now, by the way, Miles, your mother, all right?
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying that, no, listen.
She would wear like a leotard, you know what I mean?
She was not the drum major. People keep saying
No, not the drum. She was the baton
majorette.
She was
the majorette.
The majorette.
That's when everyone is checked in. If you twirl the baton, you're the majorette.
Okay.
Now we know.
Big deal for her.
Yes.
Real, like it was like the moment of glory in her life. All right, let's get on to Florida. We have a Florida school. Caroline Malie Lee down there is the teacher of the year. Now, last Wednesday, 2 days after she was named teacher of the year, she allegedly hit a student in the face after accusing her of sending a threatening Instagram message. Caroline Melanie Lee, a 60-year-old teacher at Darnell Cookman Middle High School in Duval County, has been charged with child abuse, according to the Florida Times. Lee allegedly confronted a student who was not in any of her classes Friday after the student accused her of using the N-word in an Instagram post announcing the teacher's honor. Lee allegedly viewed the message as, quote, a threat to kill her, according to the arrest report. Lee claimed that she used the racial slur only while teaching of mice and men. The student, who has not been publicly identified, claims Lee hit her in the face, causing a nosebleed. She left Lee's room and immediately went to the guidance counselor's office to report the teacher. While Lee denied any physical contact and claimed the classroom door was open, but another student told police that Lee had told him to leave the room and shut the door behind him. Darnell Cookman principal said, this is very disturbing. He also said that she has been removed from the classroom and will not return pending the judicial and internal procedures. See, that's a big deal. If a teacher hits a student in school,
it is now.
While you're there. Well, yeah.
Now
when we went to school,
Jesus, that was punishment.
I mean, daily. You could hear just people getting just beaten in the hallway. I mean, like, that was just like, and you just wonder who it is. And you try to guess by
it's always the same kid.
You try to guess by their screams or no noise at all. Like,
right.
Oh, that's Hargis.
Yeah,
he doesn't make a noise.
That's a tough kid.
He doesn't care.
Yeah, we had Bill Heinrich. You can beat the hell out of him. Like, ain't going to shed it to you.
No, he's not. He doesn't care. Our question, what was the big thing that went down at your school? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Nina. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bicholas.
Hola.
So, in 8th grade, we had all planned a food fight for the last day of school. Well, there was a 7th grader at our lunch for some reason, and he decided to throw an apple to somebody else, and they thought that was the time to do the food fight.
So your planned food fight ended up happening, like a day early?
Like 2 months early. Before spring fling, before 8th grade dance, before all the perks of leaving the middle school happened, and we almost got it all taken away from us.
I was going to ask, did it cancel anything as a result of this?
We lost the spring fling. That was the one thing they took from us.
Well, how about did it escalate? I mean, after the kid threw the apples? Yeah.
Because it's go time.
Everybody was throwing food. Everybody was getting covered in food. I got covered in nacho cheese, and I had Skittles thrown at me.
I was trying to think, like, my mom never made, like, a good packed lunch for me. So I typically would eat hot food. And I know for a fact it was so difficult. You know what I mean? Like, I can never pick up the piece of pizza and throw it at somebody.
No,
because
not
I'm
on pizza day, dude.
Like tot day. I'm not firing tots at people. You know what I mean? I'd have to pick up, like, I don't know, rice pudding and just fling it across the room.
Think like
all the terrible stuff.
Spaghetti day out of bed. You're right. Like pizza day, no. Burger day, absolutely not. If I had tots, forget about it. But yeah, days like spaghetti, like food fight. Who cares?
I mean, and if you know it's going to be a food fight day and you are working in the cafeteria, you change the menu to like vegetable soup or chili.
Oh, yeah, you're going to burn each other.
Yeah, exactly. That way, I mean, there's no way you're reaching your hand into a bowl of chili and throwing chili at
But it would be worth it. If I'm the lunch person and I get a heads up that they're going to have a massive food fight, I'm a Miles. Like, look.
I'm going nuggets and tots.
You're throwing your tots?
No, man.
No, man. You look at those once a week.
I'm making the food. Is that what you're saying? Playing the menu around?
I don't think you want projectiles. I think you want something that no one can
Ted's saying, like, this is the food you like.
Yeah,
you want to sit around and clean up chili?
I don't think anyone's going to throw the chilies.
I'm going to duck.
How about lasagna?
No, I like lasagna.
I wouldn't throw lasagna.
That's what I'm saying. What was the big thing that went down at your school? 206.
No one is slowing down in this hiring race for the right talent. That's why Principal wants to help you stay competitive by providing a comprehensive benefits package tailored to your company's and your team's needs. Because having the right benefits may help you reward and retain your team so they feel valued, motivated, and ready for the future. And that makes all the difference for your business. From large corporations to small and mid-sized businesses, Principal has the retirement and group benefits plans customized for your goals. Your company's future depends on its people. Give them the tools they need to succeed. Talk to your financial professional today about the right benefit plans from Principal. Principal Life Insurance Company, Des Moines, Iowa. For important information about our products, visit principal.com/disclosures.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
A dad in Lowe's feels just like being a kid again. This Father's Day, find prices to treat him to the gifts he craves. Like $60 savings on your choice of a DeWalt 20-volt max brushless drill or impact driver kit. Was $159, now $99. Or an Ego 615 CFM blower, everyday low price of $199. There's nothing sweeter than Father's Day at Lowe's. Home to any budget, home to any possibility. While supplies last, about 6/9 through 6/15.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
99.9 KISW. The men's room is in progress.
Our question, what was the big thing that went down at your school? 206-421-ROCK.
Got a couple of comments here. It says there used to be a high dive at my high school, and one guy on the dive team did a back dive and clipped the board too close to his crotch. Ripped the sack, which resulted in him losing a testicle.
Oh, no.
Thanks, guys. Love you. That from Amy, the friendly neighborhood bartender. I like this one. It says, we had split lunch periods. So someone, in quotation marks, meaning probably the texter, someone in first period pulled the hinge pins on the hallway doors. So when the second group charged to be first in line and hit the doors running, all four doors fell flat on the concrete.
Jesus.
And as far as food fights go, it says, I went to Ford Middle School in Midland in the early 2000s. I remember a group of students using MySpace to coordinate a massive food fight one day, which resulted in the school administration turning the cafeteria into a virtual prison. All the tables were moved in such a way that students could not face each other, and there were teachers patrolling the tables like proctors. When we graduated to Franklin Pierce High School across the street, the principal there threatened to cancel our class prom because of the food fight. Again, they didn't have it. It had just been planned. As far as I know, the cafeteria rules at Ford stayed in place for at least the next 5 or 6 years.
You never see, after your schooling years go by, you never see that the food fight becomes prevalent anymore. It's kind of like that is the window of time in your life where you can do it. You'll never see a late night video. You might see people getting into a fight at Denny's at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Food gets thrown.
Or
right.
a Waffle House.
Right,
or whatever. But you don't see a full-blown picking up piece of chicken across the, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it's the one.
Adults don't do it.
I know.
They pay for it.
Sure, well, you know what? That's the difference. Hey, man, I was driving $18 on this. I'm not.
Yeah, right.
We can fight and throw fists. I am not throwing the steak.
You want to wrestle? Cool. I'm holding on to this cheesesteak.
What was the big thing that went down at your school? 206-421-ROCK.
My buddies and I, we were like college age.
Mm-hmm.
But we went to his house in one of the worst towns, York, PA.
Oh, sorry.
And we were playing like foosball. Either way, 2 of his roommates in the house were not up. We stayed up all night drinking, playing this foosball tournament. Somehow it turned into like kind of play fighting. Then there was spaghetti being thrown. And I remember his one roommate was just like, stop. Like, what the hell are you guys doing? Yeah, sorry, man.
Food fight, bro.
And they threw spaghetti at each other, which is a weird one.
That is a weird
for
one.
Cleanup.
But it sticks better. Hello, Dave. Welcome to the men's room.
Yo, what's up, guys?
Hola.
Hola.
So I'm from Virginia, and I heard someone say from Baltimore earlier. And in 4th grade, I brought some keychains to school because I collected them. And someone saw that I had a super soaker, and they tried to expel me for it.
For a super soaker?
You got it.
What part of Virginia did you grow up in?
Northern Virginia. This was in Woodbridge.
Okay.
Woodbridge.
That makes sense.
I got family in Woodbridge.
The more west you go, the more and south, the more the Virginia kind of lightens up on things.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're right outside of D.C.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, by the time you get to Blacksburg, it's just a free-for-all. You know,
And it's really funny because when I moved here, I actually ended up working with Ryan's brother, Sean.
Oh, really?
Oh, cool.
Oh,
basically his twin brother.
It is weird.
Yeah,
Those guys
right.
look
You
so
guys
much
look exactly alike.
I know.
It's kind of creepy.
It's weird.
And you guys sound alike. It's kind of weird.
And his brother's smarter, which is even weirder.
That's not weird. That part's expected.
Yeah, exactly. What was the big thing that went down at your school? 206-421-ROCK.
Super soaker. Come on.
We had water balloons. I mean, that was one thing.
Right. I mean, look, if you're a teacher, we understand why you don't want students to do this stuff. We understand. But also, I would expect that you understand that these are children. So the worst thing they're going to do, like you say, water balloons and super soaker, it's not awesome, but it's really not the end of the freaking world, man.
No, it's kids being kids.
It is just kids being kids. No, you're right, man. It's all.
And sometimes it goes above that level, but most of the time it sticks in the food fight realm of.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, that's all. Like, again, we're not saying that it's okay, but, like, you have to know it's going to happen. Everyone that went to school had pretty much the same experience. I've been hit with tater tots. What do you want me to tell you?
Spitballs?
Oh, God. Oh, man. Don't do this. But if you are going to do it, it's kind of funny. But don't do this. But we had to go to, for my English class, I don't know what grade they were, but they were putting on The Taming of the Shrew by Shakespeare. Let me tell you, listening to Shakespeare being performed by inner city Baltimore City kids, it's life-changing. There is nothing like it, nor should there be. But anyway, they had their big production. They're doing it at night. You know I'm going to. So, all the parents are there and all this kind of thing. And they're doing their thing, but I had zero interest in going. But again, because of English class, we had to go and watch this thing. So my buddy, Matt, we had straws, and he had, what are those little popper things that you throw?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Right, like a little spitball. So we realized if you stuff them in a straw, these things get great distance, all right? So we're watching Taming of the Shrew. The lights are down. They're doing whatever scene they're doing. And we put the straws in our mouth, and you hear, right? And we'd shoot them up on stage. And again, these are not thespians, right? They're high school kids. So the whole production would stop for a second. They kind of look around because no one could figure out what the sound was, but they kept hearing it. Well, now adults are starting to piece together. Obviously, somebody's pulling a prank, even if they don't know exactly what it is. And we're sitting toward the back. So we do this probably about 20 minutes. Finally, there's a teacher, Mr. Reddy, sitting directly in front of us. He turns around and he stares at me and Matt. Like he realizes we have something to do with it. He's still not quite sure what it is we're doing, but he knows that somehow we're responsible. Well, my buddy Matt, he's the one who had all the poppers because he would just hand them to me one at a time. He has all the poppers. He instantly panics. So as soon as Mr. Reddy turns his head back around, he tries to get rid of the evidence. What does he do to get rid of the evidence? He dumps all the poppers on the ground. Well, now the whole thing has stopped, and everyone's staring at us. My first suspension from school, 9th grade. Yeah, 3 days for that one.
I'll tell you what, I have a couple weird memories that involve the library, and this is really strange, but it involved AV. Okay, so AV was the audio-visual part of the library, and if you wanted to bring in a projector or something like that to watch a film, you know what I mean? A lot of the times the films were actually on 16-millimeter projectors, and we had OPEG projectors. We had TVs that were on stands, where the stand itself was about 5 feet tall.
It's the most dangerous.
And then
TV had to weigh 300 pounds.
300-pound TV sitting on top of one kid, tipped one over, and dislocated his shoulder when the television fell on him. Busted the TV. It was one of the loudest sounds I've ever heard. He's crying and everything else.
How old was
this
he?
was when I was in high school. But,
oh, damn.
But the reason I picked AV Club was because me and my buddy Joel had this plan, which was that we were going to make fake IDs with the OPEG projector. The idea being put an actual driver's license under there, project it on the wall onto basically a piece of poster board. Then we were going to perfectly trace everything on there.
Yeah.
And then color it in. Cut out the corner where the picture was. Somebody would stand behind it. We had like yellow felt behind us, which was the
you literally stood behind like the old West photo kind of things.
Absolutely. Like you put the cardboard in front of you. You know what I'm saying? Like your hands would have been showing if you had to hold the damn thing. But the way I did was I took all the putty out of the windows because there were these pane windows that had putty on each side. So I popped the glass. We get in there at like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. It takes us to about 3:30 to trace and outline this entire poster board, all right? That was step number one. Then we got that damn thing out of there. Now, that mission is completed. But that was the only reason that I did AV. was so that we could have access.
How long from the time that you joined AV until you executed your plan?
We had like 2 electives, so I took, whatever I could take. Like I took gym and, I don't know, shop class,
right.
AV stuff, home ec, whatever. Like those type of half-year classes. But AV was one. But back to AV, I do remember this. And I think, as many weird things that happen in your life and as many tragedies as there are, obviously we lived through 9/11, which was awful. But, man, I'm telling you right now, when they did the Challenger, it was one of these things where the shuttle was basically a new technology at the time.
Sure.
I mean, most of the time you saw them, they were doing practice runs, and they were on top of 747s.
I mean, all point, this is your first reusable space vehicle.
Right.
Not only that, it comes back, you can use it again.
But this is a teaching experiment. There's a teacher on board. We knew for a week in advance that we were going to be able to sit down and watch the Challenger. So they brought in like 2 or 3 classrooms, wherever the bigger classroom is. So we set up probably 6 or 7 TVs throughout the school. All right. So classes would get together, and everybody in that school. I mean, from a half an hour on, we were so excited because space was a big deal. Everybody wanted to be an astronaut.
It was a big deal.
Still
then, right?
is. You know what I mean? It was just one of those things where this is a big deal. We were too,
and this was America young, swinging its D as well, man. This was a look at what we can do.
And I mean, for hundreds of kids to watch 7 people die on live TV. You want to talk about pitching a bitch about just, minutia that doesn't matter as far as like, what my kid saw or what my kid heard at class or what this one guy was saying. We watched 7 people die. And then after that, they just shut off the TV like, okay, back to class.
Tried to act like nothing happened?
Or now they would, they'd send everybody home. Like, look, this has been a traumatic experience.
Right,
you know what I mean? We have grief counselors that come in. All these kids just watched 7 people die. And, I remember, like, obviously a major malfunction because at the time.
You don't say.
Even the teachers, and it was quiet. It was quiet in Houston, when they're. So you didn't know because they weren't exactly telling you what was going on either.
Right.
As far as just mission control is concerned. And that was the audio that was on at the time when the shuttle went off. And you see, but, we'd already seen a shuttle go up before. So we knew the rocket boosters went off, and we knew there were 2 explosions. And we knew that there was a separation then. So when we saw the
shuttle was always present.
The shuttle was
That was the difference. Like, there's the explosion, and at first, you're right, you thought the boosters had popped off the side, but, like, when the smoke cleared, there was nothing in the sky.
There was nothing left.
And you go, I actually had cut school that day, which is sad.
Tons of crying in class. I mean, people were really, really upset. That was the one that Big Bird was supposed to go up on initially.
Thank God.
And instead of Big Bird going up, what did they decide to do? They decided to put Christy McCullough on that
teacher
on that flight.
The first civilian to go into space, right? Without spending $1 million to get on a penis rocket, right? So it was we had actually cut school that day, and it was during the Showcase Showdown of Price is Right when Dan Rather popped on to say that the shuttle exploded, and it was. For me and my buddy Rick, who were cutting school, were at his place, we're watching it, and it was kind of devastating to us, as it was for everyone in the country at the moment, but we realized our next problem was we have to figure out how we're going to finagle this with our parents. You know what I mean? Because as soon as I get home from school, first thing out of their mouth, did you hear about the Space Shuttle Challenger? I'm like, yes. They're like, what class are you in? And I'm going through like, it's about 11:45. Yeah, what? You know what I mean? But when stuff like that happens, your answers are rapid. And they could tell at some point I was lying. So I'm like, English class?
Jesus.
Were you watching it? Yes.
Speaking of Price is Right, not to get off topic for a minute, but have you guys seen that gif of the guy who just absolutely takes the wheel and just goes, I mean, he gets on that thing, man, and just sends it 1,000,000 miles an hour, and below it says, me putting my birth date in on my phone apps.
Yeah.
It's like, it's going to take me a while to get my birthday.
I always wanted to spin that thing.
Everybody does.
Yeah. What was the big thing that went down at your school? 206-421-ROCK.
The wheel looks harder to spin.
What, the Wheel of Fortune wheel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is too. Every once in a while, you'll see a dude on there just to prove he can do it. Zips that bitch around like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Everyone else like click, 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 click. Come on, man. Put some muscle in it. Hello, Scotty. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bicholas.
Hola.
Neighborhood Kiss Army night. And I got one for you, boys.
All right.
All right. Back in high school, big pep rally. My buddies had a little rock and roll band, and they made a deal. They were going to play the assembly, and they said to the principal, we're going to play fight for your right to party from the Beastie Boys, and the principal said, absolutely not. He will play a different song. So they kind of came to an agreement there, but we all knew they were still going to bust it out, and then they get on stage there and everything, and they start busting it out, and the principal running across the basketball court, unplugs them, right, and shuts them down, suspends them all for a week, but they got off with 3 days suspension for good behavior. They were back in 3 days.
Or fight for your right to party. I mean, come on, man. The first song we ever played at a high school, the first time we'd ever played it, we're like 15, 16, was Smoking in the Boys' Room. Because Crew had just done the cover, right? Mm-hmm. They put out the video, and if you watch the video, I mean, it's about dudes in high school smoking in the bathroom. The teachers didn't care. They thought it was great.
In my junior high, there was a smoking area.
Junior high?
For students.
How goddamn West Virginia is West Virginia
you had to go
junior high?
You had to go across the street into the Well, you got to remember, some of the kids that were in my junior high were like, 18 years old, 17 years old.
Yeah, right.
So, some drove to school. I mean, I definitely had 3 kids in my class that drove to school.
God.
And this was like the way the junior high was, it was up to 9th grade. So then the high school you went to was 10th, 11th, and 12th grade.
Okay. All right.
So that's the way they did it then, for whatever reason.
Still, man, just saying, smoking section in your junior high.
Oh, yeah. I used to get a ride home with Tim from Tim Heiser every once in a while in 9th grade because he drove.
Because he was old enough.
Yeah, he was.
By the way, you're talking about the Challenger exploding. How about this one? Someone says, I grew up in Florida, and I was on a school field trip to Cape Canaveral when the Challenger exploded.
Ooh, damn.
Yeah.
Now, that would have been Kennedy then, right? As far as the Cape goes.
Kennedy Space Center.
Had they changed it at that point? Because
I don't
think
remember.
Canaveral was the early one. Was the early name for it.
Either way, man.
Maybe I'm wrong.
You're being there. I'm sure that was a fun road back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Jesus.
We should have gone to Disney World.
Right.
What was the big thing that went down at your school? 206-421-ROCK.
No one is slowing down in this hiring race for the right talent. That's why Principal wants to help you stay competitive by providing a comprehensive benefits package tailored to your company's and your team's needs. Because having the right benefits may help you reward and retain your team so they feel valued, motivated, and ready for the future. And that makes all the difference for your business. From large corporations to small and mid-sized businesses, Principal has the retirement and group benefits plans customized for your goals. Your company's future depends on its people. Give them the tools they need to succeed. Talk to your financial professional today about the right benefit plans from Principal. Principal Life Insurance Company, Des Moines, Iowa. For important information about our products, visit principal.com/disclosures.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Spoil Dad with the Father's Day at Lowe's, where you'll save big on the sweetest assortment of his favorite treats. Like a Craftsman 20-volt drill kit, was $79, now $69. Or gifts that sizzle, like a special buy Blackstone 28-inch griddle starter kit, now $278, valued at $329. There's nothing sweeter than Father's Day at Lowe's. Home to any budget, home to any possibility. While supplies last, about 6/9 through 6/15.